So once you obliterate the pulsation at the root of the neck, what happens is, as JVP say, backward push from the right atrium, the waves will disappear. So there may be a column of blood coming from upside, but this is a column of blood. There is no waveform. Waveform of this is because of the right atrial backflow. So waveform will be obliterated if you compress at the root of the neck. JVP waveform will be obliterated, but carotid pulsation and carotid artery will not be obliterated. What another thing is that the height of the JVP is dependent on position of the patient. If it is lying supine, the JVP will be, it's equal like gravity, so it will be till the earlobes. But if the patient is sitting, there will be no JVP seen. But carotid is not like that. JVP obviously varies with the respiration. In a normal person, with inspiration JVP decreases, with expiration JVP slightly appears. But in abnormal patients, like in heart failure patients, in constrictive pericarditis patients, JVP will be increased by inspiration. Very important thing. Also hepatojugular reflex, the height will be increased by the hepatojugular reflex in failure patients, but it has nothing to do with the carotid pulsation. So next thing is, how will you recognize carotid pulse from jugular venous pulse? Very important things. For that I will just go through this diagram. Venous pulse ACXVY, and ECG is below and above is carotid pulse. You can see here carotid pulse and X descent usually match. So if you palpate the carotid of the left side while examining the right side JVP, you will come to know easily which one is carotid and which one is JVP. Other ways is, if you are auscultating and looking at the JVP, if you auscultate and the downward movement, the positive wave correlates with the S2. Whatever the positive wave which is correlating with the S2 is V wave. Whatever the other positive wave is A wave. So while palpating the carotid pulse is equivalent to X descent on JVP. You can just do that. You can palpate the left carotid and examine for the right JVP, or if you are auscultating, you can auscultate S2 and you can see the JVP V wave. Whatever the positive pulsation, jugular venous pulsation, which is seen with S2 is V wave. The other wave is A wave. Other thing is, A wave is slightly prominent than V wave, but it's all very difficult to demonstrate clinically when the JVP is not that much elevated. So two things what are important, either carotid or radial pulse matches with the X descent, and S2 auscultation matches with the V wave, prominent wave. This is very important. While examining the JVP, four things are very important. Position of the patient. Patient should be slightly elevated in a position so that you can clearly make the JVP visible. If the patient is supine, JVP will never be visible. If the patient is sitting, obviously if the JVP is visible, that's the best thing which can happen to you, that the patient is clearly having a raised JVP. Second thing is position of the patient, exposure of the patient. From the earlobes till the chest, the patient should be exposed. Third is the variation with respiration. You should have a normal respiration. Don't make the patient do excessive inspiration, excessive expiration. That will be to search for other causes of heart failure. But here, a normal JVP, you should have a normal respiration. Fourth is the position of the physician or the examiner. This, if the both are at the same level, that will be better for the examination. The last very important is the light arrangement. You should have a good light acting upon at about 45 to 50 degree at the sagittal section of the JVP. If the JVP is seen like this, you have to be posting the light from the scapular area, that is from behind. You have to position the light so that the jugular pulse will be prominently seen on that side. I will show you just a little figure here. You can see how it should be seen. The patient's position, neck position should be slightly turned to the opposite side if you are examining on the right carotid jugular, so that the sternomastoid will relax. If you want, you can examine with your right hand or with the opposite carotid, so that you can make out the X descent JVP on this side of the neck, and you can position your torch from the scapular area, from behind, between the earlobes and the clavicle, so that the JVP will be easily seen. What you can do again is to differentiate between carotid and JVP. This is what I told. You can compress the root of the neck to see the pulsation of the JVP gone, but carotid will not be gone. Correct? This is the last one, very important thing. Usually in our times it used to be like we have to carry two scales with us, because to show that we have done the JVP. It's not required now, but usually you need to take it, because only for that thing you don't need to get failed. Otherwise, it's a clear-cut thing that now that the center of mass of the right atrium has a very much variation with whatever we thought was manubrium sternae. What is the two scales you are seeing here? You are seeing here as one is at the manubrium sternae, another is the position of the patient at the 45 degree, and the scale being placed at the raised JVP. So whatever the plane at which the two scales meet, we measure the centimeters. If it is 3 or 4 centimeter, we think that the RA is about 5 centimeter below the manubrium sternae, and we add that much, that is 8 centimeter above the manubrium sternae, and above the right atrium, and we tell that 8 centimeter of water is what is the JVP level. But that is not required. Nowadays, what is the inference is that, first thing is that there is a lot of variation between the RA and the manubrium sternae, the center of mass of RA and the manubrium sternae. So whatever you are calculating is gross. Whatever the centimeter of water you are calculating is gross. It is not at all even relevant. So what happens is, what they have made from the lot of CT chest observations, that when you sit perpendicularly, that is when you sit at 90 degrees to the supine level, the RA, the center of mass of RA to the clavicle, are you getting the point? Manubrium sternae is here, clavicle is one, the hard bony marker, to that level is about 10 centimeter of water. This is more precise landmark. You are getting, this is more precise landmark. So if the patient is sitting and if the JVP is seen above the clavicle, then this means that the patient is having more than 10 centimeter of water. That means approximately up to 5 to 8 millimeter of mercury. So obviously the patient is having raised JVP. Normal is from 4 to 5 or 5 to 7. So more than 8 is obviously more than required. So JVP is elevated. This is what is followed now. So you don't need to bring or take the two scales method and all. But for the examination purpose, you please continue with whatever you were doing earlier.